Hey everyone, hope you've had a great week. I wanted to share with you 5 tips to help your business website go from an asset that simply informs the visitors of what you do to something that's super optimized, a part of your business model, and significantly contributes towards your overall sales and growth. So, number 1, decide on 2 objectives you'd like the website to help you achieve. Your core objective is something like generating more leads, selling your products. The secondary objective is something you offer to those that are not yet ready to commit to the full ask. For example, if you're an e-commerce store and you sell products that are priced an average of £1,000, you'll have a lot of people that are considering buying the product but are not yet ready. Offer them free samples. If you're a services business, on the other hand, your core objective is to book in a session with someone, say a discovery session if you're an accountancy firm. You would have your primary objective there, book the session, and a secondary one, see how we helped another business save X amount. It's simple as that. Use the big button approach and the reinforcer approach. What we mean by that is you have your big chunky way of converting visitors to convert into a lead to buy a product, and the reinforcer, the smaller thing, such as a free sample order, download a white paper in exchange for the user's email, which reinforces the big button and also offers something for those that are not yet ready to commit. Number 2, focus on the person visiting your website, not on you. What matters to you might not matter to the user. Everything about our business is really important to us. We want to tell the world who we are, what we do, how we do it, and why we're best at it. But the person visiting your site might think differently. They found themselves on your website for a reason. There is either a goal or motivation, something they want to accomplish, a question they'd like answered. It's something they're looking for. Maybe they're just trying to kill a minute or two of time on their lunch break. So think about how you use websites. When you find yourself on those websites, what are you there for? And design with that in mind. Speak to the user. Don't talk about yourself. Speak to them directly, to their motivations, to their goals, to their objectives. If you're an e-commerce business, they are there to get something because they saw a product and they really liked it because the friend recommended it, or they just, they want a little bit of shopping, they want to fulfill sort of that need to get something new, and speak to that directly with the imagery, with the content. Number 3, don't let SEO, search engine optimization, and marketing be an afterthought. Bake it into the website from the start. Think about the sales cycle. Your website fits in at various stages of that sales cycle. It should be designed to help you accomplish the different stages of your sales cycle and move the prospect throughout it. For example, if your sale usually takes, say, 4 weeks, you're selling to C-level executives, you're selling to people that love, information and data and make the decision based on that, produce content to target it, and then push that content on your website. Because ultimately, that the visitor won't just go and spend hundreds of pounds with you. They want to first affirm their decision. I'll give you an example why SEO and marketing is super important at the start. Say you've got a great recipe for a cake, right? You've came up with this fantastic recipe and you want to share it with the world. You want to pass it on to Google to recommend to its large network of friends, the people searching for recipes. You want to make sure that your recipe is legible, it's well formatted. Otherwise, Google might misinterpret it, might get it wrong, might just think it's not that good a recipe altogether, and push it down the pile. If you make sure that at the start it's legible, it's well formatted, the recipe will jump ahead of millions of other bad recipes. And even though there's already loads of great recipes out there, slowly, with work, with some time and effort, over time you will climb up that ladder as more people use your recipe, try it out, and enjoy it. So don't let SEO and marketing be an afterthought. Bake it into the website from the start. Number 4, observe how people use your website and make continuous adjustments to improve their experience. Observe how people use your site using the different tools available to do that. See where they fall off, where they stumble, where they might not scroll to a certain point. If your super important content, something that really drives the point forward about why they should do business with you or buy your product, is further down the page, you might see that people never get to that. So you want to observe how they use it and follow the 3-step process of observe, analyze, and test. Come up with ideas for why they're doing something, for their behavior. Create adjustments and then test it with a percentage of your audience. There are tools available to do that. If you work with the right people, they will be able to set this all up for you, and this will continuously improve your conversions and ultimately have a great positive effect on your bottom line. Finally, number 5, remember that for majority of businesses, designing their websites to be different is not necessarily a good thing. Our brains love to run on autopilot to preserve energy. So we build out habits. So it's so difficult to change a habit. It's why you don't always remember your drive home from work, and why you look for things in places you expect to find them. Likewise with websites, you don't want to break the patterns, the behavior that users have learned over time. There are a small number of businesses that have the budget, the resources, and the reputation to drive change and to push forward the standards and the patterns of the web. But for majority of businesses, it's a big risk with rather small reward. You want to follow the patterns that users have worked out, make the experience as simple for them as possible, and just focus on delivering something of value to them so that they want to take the next step and either buy the product or book in a session to discuss your services. So that's 5 tips. I'll just quickly summarize all of them. So 1, we had decide on 2 objectives you'd like your website to help you achieve. Super important, your core objective and your secondary reinforcement. Focus on the person visiting your website, not on you. Speak to them, to their needs, to their wants, not about you and what you are and who you are and what you do. Ultimately, you'll deliver the same message, but do it in a way that interests and engages the visitor. Number 3, don't let SEO and marketing be an afterthought. Bake it into the website from the start. It will pay its dividends in the long term, trust me on that. Number 4, observe how people use your website and create tests to introduce improvements to the experience, and analyze those tests to see whether they performed better. If so, there's an answer, you should make that change. And number 5, remember that for majority of businesses, designing the website to be different is not necessarily a good thing. Don't break the patterns we have learned on how we use websites. Stick to them and focus on designing a great product. Hope this has been helpful. If you're in need of any support throughout this rather tricky time in navigating how you should invest in marketing, whether you should invest in marketing, what your digital strategy should be, and what you should be thinking about, we're offering free consultations. You'll be able to book in a session with myself or one of the founders at Cabana. Just drop a message below this video and we'll be happy to book in a good time slot for us both. Thanks, take care.